What's going on, guys? Bearded Finds here. We're out in Ocala and we're at the island. The island is a really interesting trail. It's located near the Santos Campground Trailhead. The island is a part of the Florida Trail and it holds some really unique history. Back in the 1930s, President Roosevelt designated a canal that they were to dredge from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean to help barges basically get through with oil and stuff like that. Well, after a long time of court battles and people saying that they didn't want this to happen, environmentalists and stuff, it was Nixon who eventually stopped the entire project. Today you could actually come to this trail and see some of these concrete support beams still here. So we're gonna go look at some of these arches on this trail. It doesn't appear that there's anybody else here, so we're gonna go ahead and hit this trail. So as you can see, we just entered the gate and you can obviously just make out what appears to be this giant arch, almost very sci-fi looking. If you're a Star Wars fan, this might be some architecture that might remind you of some of the buildings that you would see in Star Wars. Now you can probably hear all the traffic around us. That's the reason they call this the island, is because we were literally on the median of a highway. Both sides of us there's a highway, and we're just in that little grass strip between both of them. And that's really all that's here in this little area for these old sections of the Florida Cross Barge Canal. Here on the table you can see somebody's already come through this area and found something of interest, and they've put it on the table so that other people who come through can see it and have the same experience of, wow, what is that? These are two pieces of what looks like limestone on the table. Very cool. Now if you come to this trail, you'll find this little info stand here. Amanda's checking out, they call it the canal story, and it kind of goes through all the timelines of when it was designated and when it finished, and even beforehand. So you can see it starts out at 1507, and we kind of travel through time. Florida becomes a U.S. territory. Florida becomes a state. The 4 bridge connect stanchions are constructed at Santos south of Ocala, but Congress cuts off the money and President Roosevelt abandons the project. So this is a picture from back then. And that is today.
1971 is when it stopped.
Yep, 1971 was when they officially called it. Said that they will not be continuing with this project. This would have been a bridge support for what would have gone over the Florida Cross Barge Canal. Today, it's just kind of like this alien looking thing sitting in the forest, and if you would come here by yourself and nobody told you any of this information, you might really wonder where the hell you are. You can see over time, people have kind of written their graffiti messages in here, and unfortunately that's how it goes when things are left abandoned. But let's say each one of these sections here, I'm a 6-foot guy. Each one of these sections are probably maybe 10 feet tall. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So almost 50 feet, I would say. And nature is taking back what is nature's. That's what happens when things are left to essentially rot out here. All right, we're gonna keep on heading down this trail. And it looks like there are some signs, canal building, and some information markers down this way. So we're gonna head on down and just keep on following it. Hopefully we'll see some more. Very cool. Some more bits of the story here, kind of read as you go along. They have some illustrations of some of the people here who have had some historical significance in the area. And just around the corner from all these information markers is another structure. So as we're walking through, there's this sign that says Site of Calvary Baptist. There used to be a black community that stood in this area, and when the project first began, that black community was taken for eminent domain. All their land was taken or either bought for basically pennies on the dollar, and they were thrown to the wolves, basically. Figure out somewhere else to live. There used to be a whole church here, community, school. Unfortunately, this brown sign is the only thing that we have left today to remember those people by. But I'm happy that there's something here to commemorate them. Looks like there's another one headed down this way. Here's an interesting little info picket sign thing here. Talks about Florida crackers. What is a Florida cracker? People hear the term cracker and the first thing they think is that it's a racist term. Yes, it is a racist term if you're using it in racist light. However, Florida crackers are known as the original cattlemen of Florida. And they call them crackers because they would crack their whip. So people from far away would hear the sound of a whip cracking. And that's basically Florida's cowboys of the past, cattlemen, cracking those whips and making them cattle do what they are intending those cattle to do. People were so skilled with whips back then, they would use them as hunting tools. They would go out hunting in the woods. They'd actually whip and kill a rabbit and take it back home for dinner. So that's how powerful of a tool that a whip could be to a Florida cracker. So if you ever hear the term cracker house, that's basically just an early style Florida home by one of the early settlers. Usually it's made out of pine wood and tin roof, and usually it has a very distinct shape. So if you ever come across some Florida history and you hear the term Florida cracker, now you know. So here we're standing next to another one of these support structures. Pretty close to the same size as the last one that we just saw. And just in the distance behind me, there's even another one. Here's another one, and I think our final support beam here. So there, it looks like there was a total of 4 of these support beams. I'll say, you know, we've done a lot of hikes on this channel already, and I'll say that this is probably one of the most informative ones. I'd put it right next to Yearling, and there's just so much to see, so much to look at, a lot of places to stop and think about things.
Informative things.
Yeah, and they have like a lot of informational markers around. It's not just, you know, these in the woods kind of sitting here. You can learn about them, and they didn't have to do that, so very cool. I think it was a really good day coming out here, and just looking out this way is very beautiful. Some of these natural formations with these trees and simple trails heading that way. Well guys, we're nearing the end of the trailhead here, and I just have to say this was amazing. Just to see all this stuff around left in the woods and so well kept, the trails maintained and nice and quiet, people very kind out here. Definitely worth the drive. So if you ever find yourself in the Ocala area and you're looking to see a little bit of old Florida history, come check out on the Florida Trail, the Florida Cross Barge Canal, or at least what's left of it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.